So today's topic, we're going to talk about the disrespect the Sierra Leone Parliament, member of Parliament, some member of Parliament chose to disrespect the First Lady of Sierra Leone. So that's what we're going to talk about today, okay? And I'm going to disclaimer and the trigger warning. If you know, again, if you know you are a critic of Fatima Bio, if you know you do not like Fatima Bio, if you know whatever Fatima Bio does pisses you off, please don't come to my platform today. I'm just giving you guys a trigger warning. If you know you despise the First Lady, if you know you hate her gut, yeah, if you know, that's why I'm giving people a trigger warning, and I'm just giving you a disclaimer, because today, one, I don't have time for your opinions. Your opinion matter, but not on this topic today, okay? I could care less about anybody's negative and toxic opinion about Fatima Bio. That is not my concern. It's not my concern. Today's topic, for those of you who know, since I started this platform, I am a defender and a supporter of Fatima Bio. And I'm going to say this again. Fatima Bio does not know me. I don't know Fatima Bio personally. I know her as our First Lady. I have never met Fatima Bio. I've never spoken to her. Because there are some people on this, sitting on social media, thinking some of us are looking for position. What I have here in the United States, I cannot leave to go take any position in Sierra Leone. So, when I speak for Fatima Bio, or when I speak on behalf of Fatima Bio, it's because I'm just a fan and a supporter of her. Okay? I've never shied away from that. So I'm just saying it today. The topic here today is what happened on Thursday, August 7th or 8th of this year, 2025. The disrespect that they accorded to our First Lady in Parliament. Some members of Parliament from the SLPP party. Trust me, I am not going to do any blame game here today and say it's the APC. APC has nothing to do with this, okay? The APC party has nothing absolutely to do with this. Whatever happened on Thursday happened because of one, President Bio, Jules de Jallo, Prince Hardin, and all the men who could not stand this woman because of the defeat that they received during this past election that they had to choose their chairman and everybody else. One woman, all these men gang up against her, including her husband. I'm not taking her husband out of it. All right? And we all know who Fatima Bio's husband is. The president of Sierra Leone, President Julius Maada Bio. If Fatima received any disrespect in Parliament, you caused it, President Bio. That's my own opinion. And President Bio, with all due respect, yeah, I'm not talking to you as our president of Sierra Leone. I'm talking this particular segment that I'm doing, and I'm including you, President Bio, in there. I'm talking to you as a husband of Fatima Bio. A husband of Fatima Bio. President Bio, When women pray to get a husband, they pray for a husband who will protect them, guide them, direct them, provide for them. You saw the disrespect your wife received from some members of parliament. You see, I'm starting this segment talking to President Bio directly, and I know some of his people watches, and when you finish, I'm going to edit this and also post it again. When women pray, they pray for a man, Queen Biaisao, for a man who will protect, guide, direct, put them in the right place. And I believe Fatima also prayed for a protector, for a man who will protect her in case of any issues coming up. So, President Bio, where is your protection for Fatima Bio? That's my question to you. I'm starting this segment with you, President Bio. Where is the protection? Do you know why he failed to protect Fatima? Because he started it. When they had this election, he claimed, President Bio claimed he has no candidate, all right, for this particular election. Fine. You said everybody should go and support who or whom they want to support. Now, the lady has her own people that she supported. Prince Harding has his own people that he's supporting. The chairman, all right? Nothing against anybody. However, after the election, because Prince Harding's candidate won, all the men who supported this current chairman now who won Batilo, that was their own candidate. You, President Bio, as a husband to Fatima, you stood on stage, danced in her face. You could see the disgust on Fatima's face that day. Your own husband ganged up against you. With all these male chauvinistic men in the SLPP party, decided to dance in her face. So he started it. Because of that song, you Kokoroso, President Bio, you was one of the men who sang against your wife. You danced in her face. Now, my problem with that is, you claimed you had no candidate for the election. You could have just sat there, have your happiness inside you, because you knew this man, especially Sis Amy, Prince Harding, was coming for your wife. Especially Prince Harding. You knew Prince Harding was coming for your wife, President Bio. You could have just sat there with her. Instead, you joined this man to gang against your wife, who is our First Lady of Sierra Leone, and danced in her face, sang in her face, you kokoroso. You understand? Now, let's come to what happened in Parliament on Thursday. I want you guys to listen. Do you know why I'm going to play this? Because when they have misbehaved on her, this is what Prince Harding and his gang and every other man that is against Fatima, this is what they do. When they gang against her, when they do what they are not supposed to do against her, they bring out their own narrative and say Fatima is unruly. Fatima has no training. You understand? They did that in Bo. When they had that election, they came out and said Fatima's bodyguard had a pew-pew, because this is TikTok, all right? That was a lie. It was Prince Harding's own people that had the pew-pew. And they actually used the pew-pew in the hall where the election was going on. That was in Bo. When after that, they came out and lied that it was Fatima's people who did that. These people do it all the time. They did it again on Thursday. The first narrative that came out on Thursday was that Fatima did not stand up when the vice president walked into Parliament. She didn't stand up when her husband, the first lady of, the president of Sierra Leone, President Julius Maada Bio, she didn't stand up when her husband walked in the hall. But before Fatima sat for those two men to get into that hall, something had already happened. Something had already happened before she decided to sit. Yes, Joe. Something had already happened before Fatima Bio decided to sit. Because both of those men, I don't think they deserve her respect at that moment. Now let's listen what happened before she decided to sit down, that these people, I'm not going to stand up for them. This is her walking into parliament. Okay. I'm gonna rewind. I want you guys to hear one lady's voice. That uneducated woman sitting in parliament who made that statement, "You mammy in Kokodo Rose." That is your first lady. You, as a parliamentarian, should not even utter such words out of your mouth. You understand? You sat there, sang while she was working down to go to her seat. This is what the SLPP members of parliament decided to do to her. You heard that lady. Queen K, how are you, my love? You mammy in Cocodon Rose. What does her mother has to do with your nonsensical behavior in parliament? But again, I'm going to revert back to President Bio. If President Bio had not stood on that stage and danced in his wife's face and sing this particular song, "You Coco Rose," none of those members of parliament will have the nerve or the audacity to even sing while this woman is walking to go to her seat. You guys saw the disrespect. Some of these people just dislike this lady because she challenged the status quo of how a first lady should behave and act, or as how a woman should behave and act in society. Fatima has broken the norm, challenged the status quo of these male chauvinistic men that we have. Now, Prince Harding, who is the biggest culprit in this particular thing, you know what? Prince Harding is a perpetrator. He's a bully. We need to understand that. He, who is the biggest bully in that SLPP party, chose to fight this young lady, a woman of his wife's age. You see, everybody want to say, "Oh, Fatima is too much." Like I said, today your opinion about Fatima is too much. "Oh, Fatima is this." I don't give a hoot about it. And that's what I'm saying. If you know this particular segment that I'm doing is not going to sit well for you, please do not send a request to come up here, because I'm not bringing you. You understand? Because what we are talking about today is about disrespecting a sitting first lady in our own parliament, uneducated people who are sitting in that. Let me tell you guys something, eh? I'll challenge you guys. You go, half of those members of parliament, Audrey, are not qualified to be in there. I challenge you that. Go check their credentials. Check their credentials and see if they are qualified to be in parliament. Some are there because they did favor to President Bio one way or the other. That woman that shouted that Fatima in Mama in Kokoda was una, go check in credentials. Go and check her credentials. You see, some of these people, they sit in there, eat free money, don't know how to behave with nobody. Is that how you should treat your first lady? Is that how you should treat a human being? Every human being deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. Where was the dignity for Fatima Bio? Where was the respect for this young lady? Because Fatima is in her 40s. I want you guys to understand that. Some of you people on this social media, you are the same age of this young woman. But some of you sit here and act like you're children. Why she challenged the status quo of how a first lady should behave. Now, some people might say, oh, well, it's politics. Fatima should be able to bottle it up. She already bottled it up. She stood there and challenged this man, and she won. And they were pissed. The only thing they won was that chairmanship. That is why you see all these men were so happy. Go check what happened in the election. Prince Hardin always do that. Now, let's go to Prince Hardin. Yes, Queen K. Let's go to Prince Hardin. If it was Anne-Marie Hardin, Prince Hardin's wife, that they sang that song against, all of those SLPP people, they will have... I'm telling you guys, the next day, most of them will have resigned. He will make sure you resign. Prince Hardin will never take any disrespect towards towards his wife. He will never accept such disrespect that they accorded to the First Lady of Sierra Leone because her husband do not want to speak up for her. President Bio, it's about time for you to make a statement and defend your wife. It's about time, President Bio, to make a statement and defend your wife. I'm going to repeat myself. Most women, especially Sierra Leonean women, when they pray for a man who is a protector, a man who will guide them, a man who will direct them. President Bio, where is your protection? Where is your direction for your wife?